Alrighty, hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Ashlee Petranovich. I'm a senior at Montrose High School, and I'm going to be talking about my 7-week clinical and school psychology internship at Murray State University in Kentucky. So before I dive in, I'm going to talk a little bit about the buildings that I was at during my internship. So this is Alexander Hall, and this is where I spent every single day. This had my office in it, as well as all the different programs that I was a part of, and all of the people who had those programs and initiatives and resources were there. And then this is Wells. I was in here quite frequently, not as much as Alexander, but I was in here quite often. So I'm going to be talking about my internship, what I learned, and some setbacks that I ran into, and my free time in Kentucky. Sorry. Okay. So I worked with a lot of different programs while I was at Murray State University, and I worked mainly with the grant implementation experience through the MSU and WKEC Mental Health Providers Academy grant, which was worth $3 million and really aimed to help provide that financial aid to those who are seeking to obtain a higher education in counseling, and that was a big need for those in the schools in Kentucky. And the bulk of my internship, and probably my favorite part, was that I got to have counseling and assessment experience, shadowing school psychology graduate students as they completed screening for and diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder in youth clients. And so this was pretty much every single day. This was Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, starting at 9 a.m., going on to 12 p.m., and sometimes later than that, just depending on how heavy the context and the case was. So, and that was super rewarding, and you'll see up here, this was one of the rooms that I got to observe in. It was just like a one-way glass, and it was just great because I got to take notes behind that screen and just be able to listen in very closely. And in addition to that, sometimes I would watch on a computer screen, and my favorite part, sometimes I got to be inside of the room while the graduate students would do these tests, so that was really rewarding. And I brought everyone donuts and wrote them some letters on my last day, so that was super fun too. And then I also assisted faculty with literature reviews on manuscripts and grants, and that was tied in with the grant. And then I also worked on website enhancements for the Kentucky Center for School Safety. And since I am a Safe to Tell ambassador, I have a lot of background in school safety and what the expectation should be. So I brought a lot of that knowledge into this amazing resource that Kentucky has and just provided them with some feedback on their website, how they can make it more applicable to students. And then I also assisted the Center for Student Engagement and Success with their summer orientations, which was super fun. Here I am with my aunt, and my uncle did a podcast with me, so that was super fun. And a lot of my internship was me sharing my perspective and knowledge. Oh. Okay. So what I learned a lot during my internship, and I can't talk about everything today, but I really do encourage you to go to the Pinhead website and read my blog as well as every other Pintern's blog here. They are super in-depth, and they talk so much more about our experiences. And so yeah, but just kind of narrow it down, I learned a lot more about autism, ADHD, conduct disorder, depression, anxiety, and OCD. And within these, I learned the history, treatment, core features, and possible gender biases and their theoretical templates. I also, within these, I learned about the diagnostic tools for autism and ADHD. And within these, there's the ADOS-2, CARS, WIPSI, Bailey, Vineland, etc. And these vary state to state, but this was for Kentucky. And I learned how a professional school psychologist would score these tests, which was super amazing to experience. And I also learned more about developmental milestones and cognitive behavior therapy. And this was all about how children can recognize signs of anxiety and how they can learn anxiety management strategies to cope. And with all of this, I got a front row observation of how children behave, but I also got to learn all of this in a graduate level class that I attended every Tuesday. And so that was just amazing to be able to learn about everything on Tuesday and then see it be applied the next day. And then the most valuable thing that I could take away from my internship is that children with autism are genuinely the sweetest children ever. They're very pure of heart, they want to be loved, and they want to give love. And so that was just really rewarding to be able to work with these children. So on my internship, I kind of struggled the first couple of weeks with imposter syndrome because I was meeting with a lot of people who know what they're doing and they're super high in their titles and I'm just a high school student, and that was it was a little daunting, but I think I had to change my perspective on that as I kept going about my internship, thinking I am a high school student, and I am here with all these wonderful people who know so much, and there's so much to learn from them. So I think that just changing your perspective on it and just thinking, being confident in your abilities, and you are there for a reason. And I also missed home quite a bit because I've never really traveled out into different states. So it was very different being away from my family. But I think the best way to kind of cope with that is, finding fun ways to communicate with your family, sending them letters and FaceTiming them. And it was kind of fun to get away from them for a couple of weeks, but you kind of enjoy it. And then my free time, not all of my time was spent hustling around the university. I got to spend a lot of time with my family, my extended family, with my aunt and uncle, because I was living with them, which was so great. I got to go see a play with my aunt. As you can see up there, we saw Into the Woods, and that was super fun. I celebrated my birthday in Kentucky, played a lot of cards, and settled into Kentucky culture, and I baked so much while I was in Kentucky as well. So why do the Pinhead internship? You are meant for something more, and I do think that if you're here today and you're thinking about considering the Pinhead internship, I really think that you should follow that tug on your heart and really seek it out, because there is so much to learn in this world, and I think that you should be eager to seek out that knowledge, and Pinhead is a great stepping stone to do so. And so just thank you so much for making my experience as wonderful as it is.